just welcome everybody into our space today. Welcome to everyone here and welcome to everyone joining us online. I'm Evaleen. I'm a white woman with blonde hair and I'm wearing black pants, black shoes, black t-shirt, black jacket, very imaginative today. I have the text to my speech if anybody wants to. The QR code is on the tables or it's on the information point down there if anybody wants to follow the text along. It's wonderful to see so much support. It's fantastic to see so many people here. It's an absolute honor for me as an empowered autistic woman to hold this event. And I'm hyper aware of my privilege, which has led to this empowerment and my ability to hold this space with you today. Empowered, meaning I am non-compliant to the narratives around our existence as autistic people. Cheer wherever you want. Empowered, meaning I can imagine the autistic way of being outside of the medical model and of the narratives of deficits. Empowered, meaning I can be the author of my own story. I remember about 10 years ago, when I started this part of my own story, coming across something that looked like a Wikipedia entry describing non-autistic people in a pathological way, saying this group had deficits in sensory processing and social skills, etc. And I remember sharing that with my counsellor at the time, fantastic woman, and she asked me if it had brought me comfort. And I said yes, but yes wasn't the full answer because the complete answer was still forming deep inside under layers of internalized blame. This first encounter with a different way of thinking awakened a spark inside me, a spark that was fanned by more autistic empowered voices, like Kieran over there, thank you. One that led me to realize that anyone in power can pathologize a minority and that we can pathologize anyone's way of being. I'm so glad I had that first encounter and the many more that led us all to be here today. We're all here because we value and love autistic people. We aim to rewrite our narrative through autistic-centered research, censoring autistic experiences, and improved mental health and well-being. Neuroaffirming practice entails moving beyond the medical model of autism. Insert cheer. At Awesome Training, we define neuroaffirmative practice as understanding the depths of our community's trauma, centering the rights and dignity of autistics, expanding beyond the medical model into the social, minority stress, and human rights models, being respectful and supportive of the person's neurotype and neuroculture. And it goes without saying, but still important to mention, that we are vehemently opposed to applied behavioral analysis, which is ABA, positive behavior support, which is PBS, and social skills training, and any other interventions inflicted upon autistics without us asking for them. Over the next 2 days, you'll hear voices amplifying the marginalized in our community, those still denied access to communication, to community, and to basic human rights. Everyone needs to be able to imagine themselves outside of a story of deficits, but some autistics are denied access to empowered autistic advocacy. But autistics do not have deficits, our society does. Our society has deficits in empathizing with us, understanding us, celebrating us, and seeing us as fully human. We are not broken versions of a normal that fails to exist. We are autistic and fully human, but we live in a world that dehumanizes us, and this affects us because we're human. At Awesome Training, we focus on autistic rights and dignity, striving to create a world where everyone is valued for their humanity, not economic utility. We seek to promote an understanding and appreciation of autistic people beyond narrow, inaccurate medical models. Under the medical model, autistics suffer, and our community is in crisis. Minding Autistic Minds needs to be our priority, and this includes all autistic minds. The pervasive sense of being deemed wrong or inappropriate takes a toll on our self-esteem and mental health. And Kieran will delve further into this later on. And Owen will talk more on autistic mental health and well-being and what well-being for autistic people looks like. Right now, our standards of autistic well-being are pretty low. And we need to make a collective effort to improve this. And Katie will talk more on this in a little while and talk about the importance of allies. I often feel that well-being is considered making us adjust and fit in. And success is measured by us reaching neuroconformative standards. But those of us who conform like this do so by putting ourselves under immense pressure. But we are autistic, and we deserve to live autistic lives. Autistics also have a lot to give, to teach, and to share, and I hope that over the conference, you'll enjoy being immersed in our culture, our community, and our way of doing things. Jessica will share more about autistic perception, and I hope that we will all see how a different way of perceiving and a different perspective is not automatically wrong, but incredibly valid and worthwhile. Moving into a world where autistic lives are not just accepted, but celebrated as others are, where we are not seen as less or defective versions of a perceived normal, is an exciting journey, but it is also a difficult journey with many obstacles in our path. And we need allies on this path, and we welcome you here today and celebrate this togetherness and unity that we all strive for. We all need that sense of belonging. Part of the shift is appreciating that there are many different ways to share our internal worlds, and that speech is not the only way that we communicate. Max will share his experience of being a non-speaking autistic person and the difference in his life after getting access to communication through Spelling to Communicate, or S2C. We all need to do better as a society when it comes to placing speech above all other modes of communication. For those of you who've not attended, well, there's lots of people who have attended awesome training sessions before, welcome. Just to put the warning out there, it might be an emotional day. It may even be uncomfortable at times, and it's important that we flag that, but because some of the things that we'll say, you know, as an autistic organization and as autistic speakers, may challenge people's current views. You know, if you've come here with just the medical model in mind, it's going to be a bit challenging to come to a different perspective. But just, that's what change feels like. Change feels a bit uncomfortable. But, you know, do what you need to do to take care of yourself throughout the day. That's really important for everybody here. But it's also going to be an enjoyable, rich, and valuable experience. This is an autistic-led conference. It's a neuro-affirming space. Please feel free to move about. You don't have to be stuck to the chair with your feet on the ground, looking at us for the day. Move about, sit on the floor, do whatever you do to make yourself feel comfortable. Take breaks when you need them. Do remember to mind your spoons. Our sesame room is our chill out space downstairs if anybody needs to get away from the crowd for a little bit. Instead of clapping, we're going to use flat paws throughout the day to minimize noise, but also to celebrate different ways of communicating. There are fidgets on loan from Neuropride Ireland. Thank you, Nem and Gillian and Claire. If you need them, they're down just by the awesome training stand. We just kindly ask that you return them once you've finished with them, which is kind of passive-aggressive way of saying don't run off with them. Ed and JJ will be around with a video camera for the day. We're really trying to capture as much of the day as we can. So if you have something to share with them and you'd like to go on video, please go find them, or they'll find you during the day. Because actually a space like this is rare. A space where autistic people are holding in charge of our own narrative and where our lives are celebrated is rare, unfortunately. But hopefully it'll become more and more common. We also have a post-it wall just down here by the white curtains in the exhibition area. If anybody has any thoughts during the day or the next 2 days, I'd like to mind autistic minds by. and put your comments. We'd love to see what people are thinking. It would be a fantastic way to gather people's thoughts over the next few days. Do it anonymously, please. I'm told we can't have people's names because of GDPR. So, if you need any assistance or if you have any questions, please feel free to ask any of our team wearing the blue lanyard saying crew. I'd like to thank everyone who has made today possible. Thanks to our presenters, to Ed and JJ for filming my interview with Max, which we'll play later on. Thanks to the staff of the Osprey. Thanks to our exhibitors for supporting our event. Please do visit them throughout the day, and if you're online, please do have a look at the online brochure, or the digital brochure. Mackie can pop that into the chat there so you can have a look at that as well. We have Stella, Sarah and Cara will be sharing their research. So we have 3 poster sessions on at lunchtime as well, and Alexis in Too Diverse, which is the table straight down here, will also be running a presentation around 1:30 around lunchtime. Thank you to all of you, obviously, for showing up, because it wouldn't be much of a conference without you. We couldn't do it without this kind of support. So thank you so much. And it's important that we acknowledge the work of autistic people for decades. We're now over 3 decades into a human rights movement. Work that has led to our empowerment today. So we're standing on the shoulders of giants, and we'll never know the names of all those people who paved the way for us. But it's important that we remember them and honor them by continuing this advocacy for better lives for autistics. We're forever in their debt.